Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast here at the Starletter I-League StarSeries American Qualifiers. As we continue on to our next to our middle best-of-2 matchup, we have Complexity Gaming going up against Doo-Wop here in this 2-game series. So really looking forward to this one. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm excited. I'm Breaky CPK, and I'm joined by my co-caster once again. I'm joined by the one, the only Mini. How's it going, man?
10 seconds.
Have you muted still? No. Are you there, Mini?
5 seconds remaining.
Something.
Complexity.
Hold on, guys. I think he has me muted. See if I can get his attention. You there? Can you not hear me?
10 seconds remaining.
Classic. Test. No, you should be able to hear me.
5 seconds remaining.
You have me muted, I think.
Complexity.
Hello.
Turn to pick.
Should be able to hear this.
Dire team pick.
Let me just recall him. We see a draft going on. I'm getting my co-caster back here. Before we actually get on with the cast here.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Hey, you there? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what I was having before, but I don't know.
Weird.
Maybe Skype was bugging up or something, but yeah, I can hear you now. It's all good.
5 seconds.
We're Gucci,
All right.
guys. We're Gucci.
All right. Good to go. Yeah, I could hear you doing stuff, and I was like, he's ignoring me. What an
It's like,
asshole.
what the fuck? Dude, it's
Ignoring me. No, but all right. Happy to have you back, though. And again, here we are in our next series now, Complexity versus Doo-Wop here. This should be a fun one. I'm excited. You know, I haven't made it a secret personally. I'm a fan of Complexity, especially, and looking to see them succeed. But Doo-Wop has also proven to be a pretty good team as of late. So this should be a good series here.
Yeah, definitely, and I think with the draft already, it's going to be definitely rather interesting. Another game where we're going to see a Pudge in this series.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quickly, because Rubik in a Punch. Now, for those that may have missed the match yesterday of Complexity versus DC, they actually ran Pudge in that match. And, you know, I was bringing it up in the draft that Monkeys actually was talking to me recently that he loves to play Pudge. He loves to play Pudge, especially even in the off lane, and he considers himself to play it pretty well. We saw yesterday an example of that. He plays it pretty damn well. He was landing hook after hook against DC and helped them get to victory in that second game there. So I'm expecting it to be a Monkey's Pudge, but it could also be a Z-Freak Pudge. That isn't out of the question.
Yeah, definitely. But I do like the kind of innovation what we're seeing teams play Pudge though. Like obviously we talked a little bit about the laning mechanics and how obviously you can hook creeps and things like that. But the things what I'm seeing a lot actually is I'm seeing a lot of Pudges play against Underlord. Because obviously when the Dark Rift happens from Underlord, obviously with the Pudge, you can hook one out and then you can kind of guarantee that person is not going to get into the Dark Rift, and therefore you can guarantee that kill is going to happen. So there is kind of a lot of kind of innovations. Now we're seeing Underlord more sort of regularly in the meta. We're seeing heroes that are trying to ways sort of deal with him and counter him, and I think Pudge is definitely one way to do that. So I'm looking for perhaps some clutch hook out of Reality Rifts or Dark Rifts would be quite interesting to see.
That is that's the plan for Complexity at least, but they're facing against already a solid lineup of Doo-Wop as mentioned. We talked about the Underlord. They throw a Weaver on top of that. Weaver's kind of really stepped up as one of the more go-to cores, I feel like, for a lot of teams, and Doo-Wop no different. You know, makes sense too.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, definitely a strong core, but we might even see him as a support as well. A lot of teams have been running a support. I mean, I know VP originally played it, but they don't only play it with a Dro. But we've seen Weavers now being played without a Dro, still as a support. And obviously, we've got like Rubik, obviously, which is decent against Weaver. Obviously, the instant lockdown with the telekinesis, obviously, and Sakuchi's a great spell to steal. And talking of the Rubik, I do kind of like this 1-2 opening from Complexity, though. Like Pudge, obviously, like, a good hero we've talked about against Underlord, but Rubik is normally a hero that is picked against Pudge because of that instant meat hook that you can take if you steal it, which is just completely like one of the scariest things. Rubik with hook is very, very scary. So I like the 1-2 from the Complexity there. And they follow up with Avenge as well, so sort of packing in the stuns, which I think is definitely needed against the Weaver. If you don't have the right lockdown against him, if Weaver's played as a carry and as a core without a lot of lockdown, he's a complete nuisance in the mid game.
10 seconds.
Yeah, Vengeful can assist with that ideally. Now, the Lincoln Sphere, as mentioned, obviously could be a little bit of an issue, but definitely kind of focusing on that, it feels like, from Complexity now. Vengeful's kind of another interesting hero, though, too, for sure, because, you know, obviously, for me, whenever I think Vengeful, I always thought for the longest time, you know, coming from Honda, we see him as a support hero. Yet in Dota 2, I know, and there's teams that even are known for doing it, a core Vengeful is not out of the question here. So I'm kind of curious what Complexity is going to decide to do with that Vengeful Spirit.
Exactly. I think it all depends on how the draft goes, because at the moment Venge and Rubik can be played as supports, and as you mentioned, obviously Monkeys could play Pudge as a core, but we'll have to wait and see. Like, I know EG have been playing a lot of Vengeful carry, even obviously Team MP used to do it quite a lot with Aoi, but we'll have to sort of see how it works. It's okay against Underlord, obviously, as a core, because obviously you can get the Wave of Terror and the stun, which is obviously a lot of threatening in the lane. But do want to pick up the SF though, so SF plus Weaver, so a lot of minus armor already picked up. And obviously, so they're going to have a lot of easy Roche potentials, and perhaps Complexity are going to look to try and do something about a lot of this negative armor. But with kind of they're both supports, or arguably both their supports, are going to pick it up. There's no chance for like a Dazzle, but perhaps a Sven, perhaps could definitely be in order, because SF and Weaver is going to be dishing out a lot of negative armor and a lot of physical presence.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what that fourth pick ends up being here for Complexity, but yeah, Sven wouldn't be out of the question, I feel like. And OD is going to be a mid option here. As far as Cancel, most likely, of course, going to be playing that for them. They'd like the matchup against Shadow Fiend. Does he match up well, you think?
Yeah, definitely, and I think the main reason why they picked up OD as well is it's a guaranteed hook as well. You sort of hook, or so you imprison into a hook, kind of similar to like an SD into a Morana arrow. A lot of setup for these hard to hit skill shots per se. So if this Pudge is going to be played as a roaming 4, then obviously you'll expect a lot of ganks onto this SF mid, which is a very easy hero to kill. Obviously very immobile and very susceptible to these roaming ganks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fourth pick ends up being for Duop. Meanwhile, again, it depends where their Weaver's going to end up. But right now, it looks like they really have their 3 cores picked up. But as you're mentioning, Weaver, obviously, support could be an option here. So maybe Duop also even thinking along those lines. But they have about 30 seconds of reserve time and waiting to decide what they want to get. So perhaps going to get that information here. I figure it's going to be some kind of support. Yeah, it is going to be Undying here.
Yeah, I really like this pickup here, actually, because if you look on Complexity side, they've sort of shown Rubik, Pudge, Venge, like that could technically be kind of the safe lane in itself, and Underlord is not going to be able to contest that lane at all. However, there's one hero like most dual lanes are going to lose to a tri lane, but in this case, I think actually Undying Underlord can probably actually beat the tri lane coming out from Complexity, because obviously the more heroes that are in a lane, then obviously the more heroes or more chance for like a multiple targeted decays that can really pump up Undying sort of damage and presence in the lane. So really nice pickup here, and I think Complexity should be a little bit worried, because Underlord Undying lane is very, very scary, and I'm looking to sort of see how Complexity are going to deal with this in the draft.
Yeah. Undying, definitely that potential to kind of dive towers as well, playing those aggressive lanes. So, yeah, that's Complexity, I'm sure, kind of thinking about that now, too. They banned Beastmaster, actually, with their final ban, as Juggernaut's taken away by Duop right here. So now Duop, and perhaps going to get that ultimate information now as far as whatever their final pick is. But that Weaver is going to end up. It's not often we see a final pick support option, but
definitely a possibility. Like they're definitely lacking on lockdown right now. Really, like they don't actually have a set stun. Like their only kind of lockdown is Pit of Malice, but in itself it isn't a stun at all. So, like things like the channeling Pudge ulti is going to get off without anything to really stop it. So they're definitely going to need some kind of lockdown for their final pick. There's some kind of lockdown, I guess.
Yeah, that accomplishes that. Oh, and they go the Clinks. This is, God, I want to pull up the draft from yesterday, because this is actually pretty similar from what I remember. Complexity versus Duop. They had Clinks, Pudge, Rubik, Leshrac, and Shadow Fiend. So Rubik, Clinks, and Pudge are the same. It's OD and Vengeful are they're kind of a little bit different right there, but yeah, very similar at the same time, although somewhat unique. Clinks and even Pudge, not necessarily the most popular heroes for a lot of teams. So
I do like the final Clinks pick up here. I talked about how obviously how Undying is a very, very strong lane, and a hero like Clinks is great in the lane. Obviously, he's ranged, so shouldn't be able to be getting too many decay stacks off, and obviously Underlord's atrophy or shouldn't be causing a lot of problems for Clinks. They needed a strong safe lane, and I think Clinks definitely allows that. Obviously, the strafe is great as well to deal with killing the tombstone very quickly as well with the high attack speed. So yeah, I think it's a decent final pick. Obviously, you can easily solo kill the Crystal Maiden whenever she's by her lonesome. So.
Here we go. We got game number Complexity versus Duop here, as we got to kick things off with a pause. So hopefully not too long here, but again, excited for this one. For those complaining about sound options, guys, I don't. It's literally the same options that it was the first series. So I'll monitor it, I guess, but it should be overall good. It sounds like on my end that things are good, but
yeah, it sounds good to me. But
yeah. Anyways, if somebody that I know wants to message me suggesting that the sound is having issues, then I may look to kind of tweak some things if I can. But hopefully things are good, and I'll move on. Lives here. All right, so coming out of the pause, so this should be a fun one though with Complexity, especially like I said, going with somewhat unique pick. The Clinks, as mentioned, also playing that yesterday. Right here in the hands of Moo as well, and played it very well. But really, Monkeys on that Pudge, like I was talking about, really kind of controlled that game, landed some pretty big hooks throughout, and constantly getting pick after pick. So we'll see how he does this time around against Duop now. But Undying early on, gonna get that smoke up and block the Ancients with the Sentry, and possibly run into them. Oh, Z-Freak. Okay, yeah, gonna see him right there. And gonna pick up that maybe something was placed.
Yeah, really nice, interesting block actually. Like some people think, like, why are they blacking Ancients? There's no way. Like, there's not a Sven. There's no need to sort of stack. But obviously, when you're playing against a Rubik, particularly on the Radiant side, obviously this Ancient pool that's been kind of the flavour of the more week actually, than let alone the month, is obviously going to stop. Rubik pulling the Ancient creeps into mid lane and helping cancel on the OD quite a lot. So this little sentry is gonna stop that from happening. So yeah, nice play from Fury there, realizing what's up.
I'm gonna want to try to steal this bounty rune up here. We'll see if Complexity allows them to or not. But as you mentioned, this Observer Ward being here, so Complexity Monkeys actually, he's gonna have to start running back. Doesn't have any ability just yet. We'll see what he ends up getting. I believe he got hooked yesterday and did some of that pulling into the jungle.
This is really good play actually from Duop. Actually, it looks like they're just gonna give up this bounty rune actually with OD coming in. Most likely, yeah. But yeah, they placed another. So they blocked the Ancients over here, but they've also blocked this medium camp as well. So it's going to stop Pudge from being able to sort of hook that over and help him in the offlane here. So Matt and Duop seem to know have done their homework without a doubt, because they've blocked Ancients here, they've blocked this, so they're making sure that there's no way that Complexity can get ahead just from these kind of gimmicky, quote unquote, lane mechanics.
Yeah, again, literally the same thing yesterday happened. DC did the same thing. They blocked the camp, and still Monkeys was able to eventually get level 2 and then start the roam thing. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that and see how the transitions take place here throughout this game. Cancel middle lane. Jeez, he's taking a lot of damage off the bat on the ODs, thanks to the Undying right here. Of course, that decay. Great harassment till already has the 8 charges of it. So Cancel having to feel the pain from that, but overall staying alive at least, and going to be interesting to see, in the Trubu 1v1, you figure it'd probably do decent, but now with the Undying thrown in here, kind of causes some issues for OD. So I wonder if we're going to see any rotations from Complexity to help with that.
It's hard because no one can really rotate. Like, if Venge rotates by himself, like, there's no way that he can kind of box out the Undying. So, and then obviously if they rotate the Rubik as well, like, then it's kind of committing 2 supports just to deal with the Undying. It's kind of very difficult, but he's getting dived right here, but he should be fine. He's got a setup up, and it's going to be fine. But there's a TP from Rubik now.
There we go. Can you get the lift up in time? You can. There we go. The follow-up imprisonment. Not ready just yet. Actually, for another 5 seconds. And Viryu is actually going to just walk away, and he'll be fine. So Nice
There's,
support, though.
So we talked about obviously this camp being blocked as well as the medium camp, but this one over here was left unchecked, and Rubik Zephyr was able to get the lift into the tier 2, and that's why he was able to get level 2 a very timely manner, but wasn't enough to kill the Undying mid. But he's going to go ahead and take this bounty run over here, and should be close to level 3.
There you go, good rune control coming out. Meanwhile, Pudge, you see him all the way back at the lane as it spawns once again. He is level 2 here. 2.5 really, but again, still having blocked. He doesn't have any sentry on him or anything, so that will remain blocked. He'll get the bounty rune at least, and a little bit of extra farm coming from that bottom lane. Underlord could be in some trouble. He has that TP. Can they get the magic missile off in time? Yes, they can. Snake King is a dead king right here, most likely. Z-Freak, yeah, there's a lift, and who gets the last hit? It will be Melons, the greedy man he is. So, but well played right there by Complexity to successfully get that kill onto Underlord.
Yeah, nice, just nice rotation. And again, having these kind of like Rubik level 3 now, it makes a big difference, honestly, in these kind of early engagements. And so getting these pulls and getting these blocks is very important. But it looks like Zephyr is going to try and de-ward perhaps this camp. Yeah, and he's going to get it as well. So that's going to be open for them for the minute 3 as well. So it's going to help definitely Monkeys out in the top lane. So he's able to pull this and get level 3.
Yeah, well played right there. As Monkeys lining up for it, and Comp just mentioned, get that level 3, so I'm going to actually watch how he does this right here.
Don't fail. But,
boom! It's like he's done it before.
It's fine. Good. And then he's going to pull this side as well, so he'll probably get close to even perhaps level 4 and deny this whole wave. So yeah, just a nice D-ward coming out from Z-Freak there.
Oh, let me put those last hits into nice up. I apologize there. We got OD at 10 and 6 here in the middle lane against a Shadow Fiend that's 16 and 3. But again, you have to keep in mind, in fact, he's in trouble right here, taking a lot of damage. The rip coming out, but not enough in the end. So once again, Cancel will survive. But that goes to my point that Undying has been middle here for quite a bit, really supporting the Shadow Fiend. So understandable that Shadow Fiend's dominating.
I'm actually surprised how well Cancel was done, actually, seeing as he was against his Undying 1v1 practically the whole time. So really nice play actually from Cancel to only be like about 5 or 6 CS behind the OD. We do see actually the Weaver and the Crystal Maiden coming over to get the wave that Pudge has pulled, but this allows Pudge obviously to get a 3 lane by himself actually. So regardless of what they do, Pudge is going to get something out of it because of that pull. That's to level 4 now.
There we go. He's going to take some pressure right here.
He can TP out though. Off the frostbite, he can TP straight out. Or he could just run.
It's a slow. I don't know if he's going to get away from this. That bug's on him, so he's not really escaping. He's definitely dead. Dominate attack, and that's a free kill right there.
They did kill the Shadow Fiend mid lane though, so we got some kind of trade out of it. But yeah, I think actually if Pudge was able to kind of bait out the frostbite like earlier, and then he could TP straight away. But the problem was that he was kept running, and then the chip damage kept on going, and obviously got lower and lower. And that whenever he was frostbite, he wouldn't get time to get TP out anyway. So unfortunate, but he does die.
Middle lane, setting up an imprisonment right here. He's diving that Shadow Fiend. They do have support nearby. Pudge lining up the hook. Easy hook on top, and that's a dead 747 as a result. Support coming in, but obviously not getting here nearly in time from Crystal Maiden. In fact, she just cancels it as the job is already done. So that's the easy setup for Pudge right there. That imprisonment, and obviously a key target to get it on being the Shadow Fiend. Now they're going to rotate elsewhere, it seems like, perhaps the bottom lane. They try to push in the bottom lane down here as all 4 of them making the way down here. See if they can. Underlord going to do his best to hold them off, but I don't know if they're going to really be able to defend this if they choose to. So
they're going to have to rotate the Weaver down as well, which they definitely can actually. He just picked up a TP, so he's maybe perhaps looking for it, but Z-Freak is going to push top actually, or at least defend the pressure from Weaver. But interesting build here from Moo. He's picked up the triple Sage's Mask, so we're going to see an Orchid picked up from him and an eventual obviously Bloodthorn. I think it makes sense. It's good against particularly the Weaver this game. Normally we see maybe like an early Desolator, or actually when I think EG picked up, they actually had a Hammer Dominator, so he was able to sort of always get the Death Pact off, which is something that we might even still see actually. But for now he's going to be building towards the Orchid.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what he went for yesterday. Kind of was the Orchid, but I think, did he end up going to Medallion? I know that could potentially be a decent item on him.
Yeah, definitely possibility.
As well. I don't know if that was yesterday. Yeah, I don't think he did, but I know that is potentially an item that we could see, but blanking on exactly what he went for. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Monkeys has taken over the middle lane for the time being, soaking up some experience and getting a little bit of farm here at least, while Cancel's currently back at base. Getting some regen, it's going to be TPing back in. Way to farm once again, as it looks like City has to call for a little bit of a pause right here. The good old strat pause in the early game. Yeah, you see all the circles being drawn. It's almost as if they're talking about what they want to do. And move down here. Yeah, he did this yesterday too. Now I'm looking at it. He got the 3 Sages mask early on.
Yeah, it's a lot of benefit really. Like, obviously you're using a lot of mana just from like Searing Arrows and Death Pact, things like that. He doesn't obviously have his Soul Ring, which is normally a common pickup for Clinks, but without the Soul Ring, he's gonna use loads of Sage's Master to get his mana regeneration up to speed.
Top lane up here. Yeah, Rubik needs to be careful. Undying and CM rotating in. He is going to just launch out a Fade Bolt and just keep his distance. Let's see if he knows something's up. Meanwhile, Punch runs right into them. He was not aware. Melon's going to run into it as well. Magic Missile going to be used on Crystal Maiden. They pop the Shrine. Monkey's going to stay alive. He missed the hook right there on Crystal Maiden, though. That would have probably guaranteed the kill. They still might get it, but Monkey's just simply trying to live at this point. He denies himself the last second, and they will not get Crystal Maiden as a result, actually. Now Zefree, he needs to make his way out of here some way, somehow. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. As they slow him down, they get the tower kill, and Zefree pretty much going to die right here. It's just a matter of how long it takes to kill him, and there you go. There's your answer. The decay comes out, and they secure the kill on Tim. So yeah, missing that hook, really unfortunate for Monkeys.
I think that's the whole kind of ethos of a Pudge as well. Like, you have to be hitting those hooks, or it's not worth it. He's going to catch up here with the Undying, but he's not going to be able to kill him because he's by himself. But yeah, that's simple hooks like that can make a difference, but they do roam mid. Again, OD is such a great hero to gank with though, because obviously you set up with the Esther Imprisonment and then just the +1 rotates over, and SF, we talked about his kind of vulnerabilities as a mid laner, and Complexity are definitely kind of exploiting that, as we see with all these ganks.
At the bottom lane, snaking. Push it back with the Firestorm right here. Again, no move. He's obviously having a great time. The top last hit and denies in the game, 54-7. Take a look at that net worth, 3,600 net worth. You have 3,800 on Weaver, who is leading the way. But Clinks is definitely catching up. Speaking of Weaver, that Dragonlance, looks like it's coming up quickly for him.
Yeah.
Maybe just around the corner.
Yeah, Weaver is one of those heroes it's actually kind of quite unique in kind of design really, because he's one of the only carry heroes that can kind of go the whole game without really buying boots, because obviously there's Kyuchi, and we're going to sort of see it here. It's saying that it's kind of, again, the kind of flavour of the month. I think like Arteezy was doing it quite a lot with kind of playing Weaver without boots, but it obviously opens up a free item slot, but also allows you to get items like Dragonlance a lot quicker, and that's what we're going to see here, rushing the Dragonlance obviously without any boots, and yeah, and then probably make his way towards the Desolator straight after that as well.
Yeah, mid push in the middle lane right now. OD gonna with that imprisonment. It's just WFO here on the Crystal Maiden, gonna spam it out. But of course, Shadow Fiend nearby, and you see he has his bottle, trying to finish those power treads and picking up some more farm with those raises. Bottom tower though goes down in the meantime, as expected. Clinks and leading the way there, Z-Freak to assist. So that Orchid is coming up pretty quickly, and the idea that he can pick off several of these heroes here by himself is definitely a reality. Getting closer and closer right now, so Dewop gonna have to be looking out for that. OD, what do we? Okay, it looks like he is gonna be getting the Veil of Discord. I was gonna ask, what should we expect to see on him? What about after, you think?
Well, I think Blink, or at least the Dragonlance is really decent, but I think Cancel, if I remember correctly, like, really does favour the Blink, and it works and synergizes so well with OD, obviously, because you can imprison yourself, which lasts for 4 seconds, which always allows the Blink dagger to be off cooldown even if you're getting hit, so allows for a lot of sort of survivability and a lot of mobility as well, so probably Veil into Blink is most likely what we're going to see here next. There's a smoke coming up though, talking of Cancel.
Yeah, trying to get him, and there we go. That's it. As you mentioned, the Caster's Curse. I mean, when all 5 heroes are essentially trying to kill him now, we'll pop the imprisonment. There's support coming in, actually, so this could be interesting. Crystal Maiden with the ultimate will secure the kill, but she does fall. Monkey's going in the back. We got the hook. Maybe sets up the kill on Undying, but he's going to get taken out himself. However, Clinks is now here, but he's taking some good damage. Vengeful finally joins the party. Magic Missile not going to do too much. Dark Rift activated by Snake King, looking to send himself and at least Shadow Fiend back. Weaver's trying to get there in time, and he will, as they make their escape. So ultimately a 2-for-3, I believe. Yeah, 2-for-3 exchange right there. Favor of Dewop. So they tove between the 2 towers right there, and it actually worked out for them.
Yeah, that wasn't really able to punish. Like OD wasn't able to get anything off. I think the rotation was quite slow actually from Complexity, but when it did come, I was able to sort of wipe up. The Rubik actually had max level Firestorm stolen actually, and CM was channeling her ultimate, so like was able to had to sort of stand in it and instantly just died just from that one spell from Rubik that was stolen. But yeah, it's still a nice rotation from Duop. That Complexity wasn't able to respond to. Orchid now about 600 gold away from Clinks. That's going to be a big playmaker actually, and this Weaver obviously is building towards the Lincolns, but it's going to be quite far away from it.
Oop, we see Vengeful running into Crystal Maiden right there. It's going to be boxed out though, but Melon's definitely setting up, has the Nether Swap ready to go. As there's the Fortification and Weaver. Takuchi, and again with that Dragon Lance, has that extra range. But all 5 being here, it doesn't look like Complexity wants to defend it actually. They're going to be split pushing instead. They're pushing the middle lane as well as that top tower with OD being up here. Although he is playing it pretty passive. He's actually going to start falling back, not being able to see all of them. And that will be an easy tower kill coming out. Middle tower though, we'll see if Complexity can at least get this one. It really is just Moo doing damage to the tower. In the flank though, Monkeys locks him down with the Dismember. Is there enough follow-up damage? Out comes the minus armor. And the damage from Moo coming out right here. It is going to be enough. Activates the strafe, but Crystal Maiden, the ulti got cancelled immediately actually. Not even sure about the freezing field, however, they do get the kill on a Pudge. Despite that, so.
Yeah, nice TP out from Melons as well actually. We mentioned a little bit how Duop are very kind of lacking lockdown, so we're going to see a lot of sort of TPs out mid-fight, and there's nothing that Duop can really do about it. I mean, the Complexity dove really hard there, but was only lost the Pudge, and then was able to TP out.
Blink sitting from a distance. Doesn't have the most life right here, but TPs are coming in. Down goes the Tombstone, but it's going to be killed pretty quickly, as they do take out Undying as well, so the hold's successful for Complexity right there. The middle lane.
Nice rotation over. Again, you see how quickly that Undying Tombstone dies though, and the thing is the reason why, one of the reasons why Clinks was picked up, that strafe is able to sort of destroy that Tombstone in seconds. And then Underlord becomes kind of very weak, particularly because obviously Underlord really relies on that Tombstone, although he is only level 1, but still.
Ooh, Root catches OD. Will he have any support with him? Doesn't have Imprisonment. Hook actually hitting Underlord right there. I think he might just get canceled to help him. Ends up hitting Underlord, dragging him in, and they do pick off OD in the back, and as Weaver chases him down. Ultimate form activated by Undying, but Moo doing too much damage from a distance. Helps secure the kill into him. Those searing arrows, and now we see Monkeys trying to live, has that rot. Can he maybe deny himself right here? Not going to be in time, as he is chased down by the Weaver. Now Z-Freak actually has to activate his own Shikuchi, and that he's still right there to make sure he gets out of there. But another couple of back and forth battles, but another 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Duop actually. So we do come on top of another fight, also slightly.
He does have Orchid. I don't know if he's going to be enough damage, but he's going to definitely try for it. When
Strafe in 5.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
And he doesn't have Death Pact yet. He's going to use it right there. Not going to happen.
I don't know if he would have had the damage. It would have been definitely close, but alas, he's able to skeech away.
Yeah.
And he's close. He's building his towards his Lincolns as well, which is definitely needed against the obviously Orchid from Clinks. And that's when Weaver gets his Lincolns, it's going to be a complete nuisance. He's going in for the cancel here, but cancel should be fine actually. He's going to make him set up. Rubik is here as well.
Yeah, has even more support as Pudge also happens to be nearby, but how much are they going to commit is a question. Rubik wants to make a play. He's going to be hooked back though. And in the end, nothing really coming from it. Top lane, Moo's doing some damage to Underlord up here. Orchid is on him, but yeah, there's no way he's killing Underlord. A little too tanky for him.
Yeah, I think Weaver. I think actually Orchid can only be almost killed on probably on the CM, maybe the Underlord, the Undying as well. Sorry, Underlord and Undying and CM is probably the only targets that Clinks can kill probably. Man, both Underlord, both Undying,
all these unders,
all these unders, man, too much.
Much to handle. Shadow Fiend also having to get a Dragonlance himself, but of course the Shadow Play going to be next in line. So pretty traditional build as of late, as far as what we usually see. Maybe even the Manta next, but keep an eye to see how he progresses. But OD has made his way to the bottom lane now, and yeah, we do see. Wait, OD actually has a mechanism queued up right here. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Plexi really kind of value the early mech here, and there's no really other kind of potential candidate that could really go for a mech. And OD, I guess, has got the decent farm priority, but it's definitely peculiar though. But he does have the mana to sustain it. Obviously, a lot of high mana pool, plus obviously the maxed out Essence Aura. So interesting decisions here.
Yeah, You see the middle tower gets taken out. That was a pretty good sentry ward right here. You know, getting a little bit of vision and able to see them setting up the flank right there. So Complexity is able to retreat in time, and they head towards the top lane as a team. They're going to find Undying actually by himself. You see the Wave of Terror used initially, and for that damage, get the kill. Crystal Mage is also going to be thrown in. 2 clinks right here, and he will also follow up with another kill. The hook. Oh, it hit Bench Flush. He swapped first. Oh, the communication not necessarily on point, which is pretty rare for Complexity. Seems like they're usually on top of that, but sometimes you're not. All right, well, they'll push the top lane instead. They did get the 2 supports dead.
Yeah, and with Klings, though, they should be able to take this tower down pretty quickly. They race straight is on cooldown, but with the burning arrows, obviously, look how quickly it falls. There is a TP coming from Undying, and he's going to get hooked, actually.
Yeah. You talk about one of the better heroes to go up against people that are TPing into a tower. Obviously, Diva or Pudge is right up there with them. As far as his, hey, shut up! I didn't say anything. As far as his potential, so showed it off right there. Great hook on the TP in, and easy kill as a result. And look at this smooth transition to the. Look at how fast he takes down that tower, man.
It's going to be even quicker when he gets his Deso as well. About 1,000 gold away from his Deso, and that's when he can become quite scary, actually. Although SF just picked up his Shadow Blade, which is kind of an interesting item in itself. Obviously, we do see a lot of Shadow Blades and SFs. Obviously, it's kind of a great kind of item with sort of mobility. Obviously, you can settle with a nice requiem of souls. But with Weaver already on your team, obviously, you can expect Complexity to have quite a few sentries. Obviously, they've got one up here. They've got a few down here as well. So the Shadow Blade is going to kind of be used, you know, kind of less utility because of it. Because there's already an Invis hero on the side of Doo-Wop, but still, I think it's a decent choice. You know, obviously, the other option is Blink, which just kind of has its own benefits, but not as sort of late game potential as a Shadow Blade. Obviously, doesn't get the attack speed and the damage. Yeah. From a Blink Dagger.
Oh, middle lane. They wanted to set up for something there, but not really given the best angle, and obviously Underlord continues to be probably the toughest target to kill, so. Not the most prime spot, and they will just fall back from it instead. So yeah, the Shadow Blade on a Shadow Fiend as mentioned. It's going to be coming up in a couple seconds right here. We'll see if he sees it once going to scout things out. Speaking of that medallion, actually, Vengeful picking up one of his himself.
Underlord's got one as
damage.
well. Yeah, Underlord's got one as well. I think it makes more sense for Doo-Wop or the Underlord to pick up one here. There's a lot of sort of single target damage, particularly the Clinks, so that medallion's going to be useful for whatever target Clinks goes on here, and obviously helps them with Roche. And talking of Roche, it looks like Complexity are going to go for it themselves. They've got medallion, as you mentioned, on the bench, but with the Wave of Terror and Clinks, this Roche is going to fall. They're going to trade a tier 2, but there is actually a TP. All the TPs coming in from the side of Doo-Wop actually, but I don't think they're going to make it in time.
Oh, that Dark Grip, but yeah, do not get there in time. Cancel picks up the Aegis, but here we go. They want to fight Venom, support it for Neos. Melos off the bat, swaps in immediately. He's going to die pretty quickly. As the Tombstone also down, nobody's killing it. Push, he's going to end up dying. This seems like Complexity just had a loss as far as 1 to 2 right here. OD is going to fall, and they're probably going to pick him off a second time as well. So despite getting the Aegis, it's not going to work out. He puts himself under as the Requiem goes off right as he reses right there. It's just delaying the inevitable, though. A 4-for-0, including the Aegis kill. On top of that, yeah, that was well played by Doo-Wop, though. Great catch by them. That Pit of Malice at the ball.
That snaking was not only the Pit of Malice, but the instant Dark Brick actually onto that shrine. They realised that Roshan was being taken, and then obviously you said the Pit of Malice onto 3. It was just far too much. Venge and Rubik died instantly, and then after your supporters are dying, you're going to fall down as well. With the Undying Tombstone, it was far too much, but really nice play though from Doo-Wop there. That's a massive advantage. If they lost Roche there, they could have easily almost gone high ground. Complexity could have, but after that Roshan, Doo-Wop coming out ahead.
Yeah, so at least Moo staying alive. Again, mentioned that's kind of the one positive for Complexity, despite the way that fight played out. But Doo-Wop has to feel pretty good after what just happened right there. But you do have a Desolator now on Clinks, and it seems like BKB actually going to be next in line. But yeah, level 15 as well, so he gets 30 more Searing Arrow damage on top of the 10 intelligence he got initially right there. And he might be going for some kind of open right here. OD charging in, pops the dust. Moo, though, is going to take some pressure from Weaver, but Cancel, he's trapped in that Pit of Malice, finally gets away. He does not have an imprisonment, going to be hooked back, though. Good positioning right there, but they find Moo to the side, however, he ports out just in time. That was really close. Yeah, this sort of lack of lockdown again is kind of hurting Doo-Wop there, but still... they're going to be pressuring it. They still have DD on the Weaver, actually. They might try and look to go to tier 2, but no, they don't want to risk it. Pushing into a Pudge can be very, very dangerous. And Doo-Wop are going to realise that and back off. But smoke up right after, almost like a Complexity. really wants to catch Duop off guard right here. Say, you know what, we're not done fighting just yet. We're going to try to catch you before you can even react. And I don't know if they're going to get a Crystal Maiden here. Maybe. Oh, wow, they're being pinked out now, so at least Moo was. They saw him there. Oh, the hook does land, though. And that's an easy kill as a result, so.
Yeah, it's going to probably transition into a tier 2 as well, actually, so a decent hook, although Undyne is TPing over, but yeah, this tower is still going to go down with Deso on Clinks. This is going to drop very, very quickly. Weaver's still pushing in top, but don't think it's going to be able to trade in time.
OD going to be getting a full-on Guardian Greaves. This just feels so odd to me.
Yeah.
As far as, like, because, I mean, obviously Clinks can do plenty of damage, but with this build on OD, it just feels like it's underwhelming as far as his damage output. He's more of just a utility here, rather than that OD that's maybe somewhat scary with the right click.
Yeah, I guess Complexity just kind of really valued the early mech. Obviously, there's no one that can really else can farm it. I mean, like Venge, Mech perhaps, but he's far too poor to really sort of afford it. But as you said, obviously, with OD going, these kind of support items, he's not going to be able to do a lot of damage as a result. But SF looking for this kill on Rubik, and he's going to find it, I think.
Requiem, and Z-Freak's dead.
Yeah.
No chance right there for him to react, so good use of that Shadow Blade. Speaking of that, though, Clinks keep talking about how, yeah, man, he's doing a lot of damage. He has a Dragonlance now finished to even assist with that, get that extra range. But he hasn't been necessarily getting a lot of pickoffs. I mean, he is 4-0-2, so he's obviously getting kills, and it's not like he's doing horrible, but I don't know. Am I wrong to say that?
No, I think you're definitely right. But I think that at the same time, Duop have been playing a kind of very kind of tight play, been sort of sticking together. I think our only hero, like I said, as I mentioned before, that I think Clinks will probably kill is probably the CM and perhaps the Undyne as well. Basically, a lot of sentries to downers. I'm going to find Bench here, but should be
as
fine,
a
perhaps.
Swap, it's obviously, do you swap your teammate though? Unless they have some kind of quick escape themselves, that's pretty silly. So he's going to be hooked back, TP out immediately. That's not going to work, and Monkeys actually does make the escape. So a good attempt at least. But Vengeful, really no chance from the beginning. Moo, he's hunting. Oh, Dark Rift, they're going to go somewhere. He's going to see this. Obviously, he doesn't really get too much out of it, but they're going to go to the bottom shrine area and make their way down here, trying to catch the OD, but he's already fallen back. Meanwhile, Weaver barely worms on by Clinks at the top lane, and he will also manage to get away. So farm will continue, but Duop really keeping this whole teamfight presence together.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing well.
I said, like, as you can see, like Duop, they're playing a lot together as a team. Like as four, perhaps only leaving the Weaver around to sort of push out lanes as he's doing top. And obviously, Clinks can't kill the Weaver by himself because he's got that Lincolns, and obviously heroes like Undying and Crystal Maiden, they're not going alone. So I mean, I can't really blame Moo. It is kind of a hard game to play this Clinks. It's sort of more looking to try and group up, push out towers with his team, and go from there. But quite far away from BKB, and that's an item that he really needs, really, because like there's a lot of magic damage coming out from obviously the Maiden, from the Undying, as well as the Underlord as well. So that BKB is definitely going to be a massive power surge for the Clinks in the next couple of minutes or so.
God, look at Z-Freak, man. His farm, 7,000 net worth on Rubik right here. He has a Blink Dagger, the Helm of the Dominator, and the Arcane Boot, so he's managed to have a very good time when it comes to his farm. Now, there was a Sentry War that spotted him with the Invis here, so that's why they're hunting. But he actually is going to get to a spot where they cannot see him anymore, and Vic will manage to live. But a little scary there for Z-Freak.
I'm wondering when like Duop are actually going to maybe perhaps kind of invest into a gem, perhaps Undying or Underlord could perhaps pick it up. At the same time, it is a bit of a risk. Oh, hook just off the mark there from Monkeys. But yeah, to go back to the gem, obviously, if they pick up gems, try and deal with the Clinks, then they end up losing. Obviously, it's a massive detriment to both the Weaver and the Shadow Fiend, who both have Invis on their own team. But it could definitely be useful though. Stop this Clinks from possessing a lot of information and giving a lot of information to Complexity.
With the top lane, he's pinging it out right here as if they want to make a play, perhaps. But yeah, and it's so risky. You have Weaver with that Lincolns, makes it even that much more difficult. So not going to happen. Rubik is sitting nearby, but he has that Blink Dagger, of course. Help him get away if need be. And Moo instead is going to port to the bottom shrine, where he'll continue to get some more farm and trying to finish that BKB, as we're talking about, just so important for the hero to have this game. Vengeful pushing out the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend's running in. Gonna chase after him. The Dark Rift coming to the bottom, trying as well. The hook on his Shadow Fiend is never coming out. Now gonna get this point in time though. He pops up BKB. 747 is gonna fall. As move from the back line is gonna take him out. In comes the swap onto Clinks right there, but he is chased down by Weaver, and a 3 dead on the side of Complexity. Only 2 for Doo-Wop. So Doo-Wop, despite losing Shadow Fiend off the bat, they make it work as Weaver focus fired that Clinks that whole time, and even with the swap, it did not matter. So Doo-Wop comes out on top again.
Yeah, Clinks is dying far too quickly in these team fights, honestly. I mean, it was alright. I guess it was 2 for 2 trade, oh no, 3 for 2 trades, so again, Doo-Wop are coming out ahead. But yeah, the Clinks is just dying like to sort of little damage, particularly the Firestorm. He's doing so much damage with the Pit of Malice, and he needs that BKB so badly for these team fights. I mean, you can see how much damage he does. He like killed the Shadow Fiend very quickly, but it's kind of a very glass cannon build at the moment with the Orchid and the Desolator, and still quite far away from his BKB as well.
Yeah.
He's top net worth though, so doing decent, but yeah, when he gets the BKB then it's going to be kind of a different story. I did like, want to quickly to mention actually, ZP picked up the Helmet Dominator. I mean, we are seeing a lot more sort of supports pick up this item as well, but I think it's particularly useful this game because obviously Clinks can take advantage of it with the Death Pact. So the one issue as Clinks as a hero is that obviously you always want to have Death Pact obviously used, but obviously there's not always a decent neutral creep nearby. But obviously with the Helmet Dominator sort of stuck to you, you can always use that. So
use it as food essentially to consume,
exactly,
if necessary. So interesting synergy there with the hero. As interesting for Complexity here as well. They're kind of spread out from one another. You need to be careful not get committed into a fight just yet. Okay, they're gonna flash on each other as Monkey makes his way up here, and so does Melons. And now they want to catch somebody with the hook, perhaps, but Monkey's running in, maybe trying to get the other way. There's a lift. Should be an easy catch, but here comes the response. Out comes the Tombstone. The heal on Underlord right there. Is going to be enough damage, so yes, it will be. Clings from the flank. Requiem of Souls from a distance right there, doing the slow at least. And Melon's feeling he gets to swap off onto the freezing field of Crystal, immediately stopping it, but it does die shortly after the hook. Going to miss because Odie put himself under, and that might kill himself in the end. Yeah, Cancel's going to end up falling right there. If he actually got hooked, he probably lives on it. So he clings me while taking out Weaver, and he gets the kill on it, but now moves on the run. The BKB not on him just yet. As we mentioned, Monkey's Dismember onto Undying, but now he needs to run on out of there. That ain't going to work, and they will drop him. So yet again, Doo-Wop comes out on top in terms of numbers. Seemed like Complexity had hope, but 3 for 2 exchange. Yeah,
I'm going to mention the same thing again as I mentioned the last fight. It's actually the BKB on Clink that's really hurting him. This time, obviously, Clinks didn't sort of die and didn't sort of get bursted down, but I don't know if you were seeing, but he was playing very, very defensive in that team fight there. Like, when his teammates was getting hit, he was still playing very far back, wasn't attacking him, and it's because he doesn't want to be dying in these team fights, and so as a result, because he doesn't have a BKB, he can't be dishing out damage because he has to play a lot more defensive in these team fights, and it's hurting them a lot. Like, as we mentioned, Odie hasn't got, he's got a mech, he's got this kind of support utility item, so the only damage coming out from Complexity really is this Clinks, and if he's not attacking because he's sort of scared of dying because he doesn't have his BKB, then they're going to lose that fight regardless of if he has BKB or not. So I think it was a little bit arguably too defensive and too passive play there from Move in that team fight.
Tombstone is down. Hook onto Undying, actually. That's going to be a free kill on him, but Roshan's still going to fall. And that's an A just picked up by the Shadow Fiend. So Complexity a minor victory. Oh, the swap does hit Shadow Fiend, actually. Do they have the follow-up lockdown? No, they do not is the answer. Pops the Shadow Blade. He just kind of walks it off right there. So at initiation, not necessarily the greatest. And now Vengeful Spirit, he's being locked up with the Pit of Malice. You see Weaver going to chase him down. A couple of auto attacks later will end up dropping him. So now Vengeful's dead for another 50 seconds about, with no buyback right here. So yeah, minor victory leads into really not the greatest fight in the end for Complexity, despite the swap onto Shadow Fiend even being used. But yeah, I gotta say, this OD build, man, it's almost unfortunate for Complexity because you can understand the concept, I guess, but it seems like they just need more damage.
Yeah, and I think honestly, OD like Grooves, the OD mech isn't that bad as long as you have kind of a damage to sort of build it up. But at the moment, we talked about Clinks doesn't have his BKB, although he does just pick it up right there as I say it. But like obviously, he doesn't have sort of BKB, so he isn't able to do a lot of damage. And not only that, but you have your offlaner as a Pudge, which is predominantly really a support hero, very single type based. And obviously, again, very volatile in terms of whether he lands those hooks or not, in terms of whether he gets the damage out or not, really. So I don't know. I think I agree. This Greaves pickup is peculiar, but particularly in this draft and in terms of what heroes Complexity have, it makes it even weirder because Odin needs to be dishing out damage, and unfortunately he's just not.
Weaver just finished his own BKB as well. Could be some interesting interaction up here at the top lane meanwhile, but Undying also nearby, so you gotta be a little bit careful. Weaver goes in though. There's coming a boss actually trying to kill the creep in time, doesn't get the kill on Monkeys, ends up falling. You can see him using the Dismember right there, just hoping for the best. It probably wouldn't have mattered anyways, whether he killed it or not, but they get the kill on the Monkeys, he's dead for 40, and that's going to transition into a group up and push the top lane, so... But yeah, again, another case of Moo up there, you know, running around for a while, acting like he was possibly going to be trying to set up a kill, but Doo-Wop's just doing a great job of sticking together, having numbers nearby, and not giving them any free opportunity. And now this top tower goes down, Shadow Fiend Aegis still has that for a little bit, so they may try to break the base right here even.
I think they can, obviously with Desolator and Weaver as well as sort of the SF with Aegis, there's not much the complexity do. They need to kind of maybe perhaps get a hook into the tier 4s is their only kind of best option, but BKB already used from Clinks and is dropping quickly.
That's just to kill the Tombstone, by the way. That was just to kill the Tombstone. They did, but Dark Rift activated. It's going to be lifted up. Oh, that would have been big. Could have perhaps thrown him away, but not really going to happen. So
I think it's arguably quite defensive there from Doo-Wop. I mean, BKB was used by Clinks.
Yeah.
And then there were still all the ultis up from Doo-Wop, but I guess they're going to play it safe. Yeah. So they still had Aegis, that's what I mean. So I don't think they need to really kind of play that defensive. But at the same time, the Aegis is still around for a couple of minutes. They're no rush. They took the tower, but it does allow complexity now to go for a smoke, which might catch Doo-Wop off guard if they're not careful.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like Doo-Wop really almost missing an opportunity out there. But yeah, it's, as we say all the time, you know, it's better to just not dive too much and sacrifice and whatnot. Undying. Almost said underload right there, but Undying does get hooked. And actually, Crystal Manta going to be put under as well. So, for follow-up, here comes that support. By support, I mean the core. 747, the Requiem of Souls again from a distance. They'll move. Meanwhile, Pentagon auto attacks. But once again, going to have to Skeleton walk away, simply trying to live. Running away with his teammate, but Pudge so far the only one that's dead on the side of Complexity. Moo, he picks up the Courier actually. Now he's going for the kill, but the Glimmer Cape popped right there, as well as a freeze in place on a Clinks, and he can't even kill that time. They're kiting him so well right now, and he finally pops at BKB. He does pick off the Crystal Maiden, not going to be able to get much else. Meanwhile, he loses another teammate into Rubik, and over here, OG going to have to put himself under once again, probably just to land the inevitable of surviving right here. Yeah, that's not going to happen, so they do pick up Cancel. And the 3 kills happening in favor of Doo-Wop, but again, the core staying alive, Shadow Fiend and Weaver. So at least Clink's able to pick off, you know, even one of the supports, I guess both of them even, but not really enough.
No, definitely not enough. It was a nice idea. I think they needed to kind of make that play because, you know, they're still fighting into Shadow Fiend Aegis, so if they perhaps was able to catch them by surprise, but obviously with the Undying buyback, yeah, definitely didn't catch them off surprise, but buyback from OD. But here comes the taxi ride home, boys. Hook, perhaps. Hook.
That would have been something. I think, yeah, Fenchflat, did she even swap right there? It looked like she actually tried to swap something.
She did actually get the swap off, but it was still in the radius of the rift, so they were able to pull it out. Yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't really seen the. I think, like, obviously, Doo-Wop first picked Underlord, and then Complexity went 1-2 with the Pudge Rubik, and I think they wanted to pick the Pudge so they could kind of get the use out of the kind of displacement or sort of positioning to make sure they catch someone out when the Dark Rift happens. But we haven't seen it once this game actually. I think this is kind of costing them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely a good argument to be made. Middle lane, though, this could be a big chance on a Weaver right here. But again, the Lincoln's causing issues. The Bloodthorn is ready to go in Clinks. But you see Weaver, he skitters on out of there. Oh, they're going to see him again, though. But now somebody taking off that Lincoln's. Moo can't really do anything about it. So really relying on the teammate support there. Fortunately, doesn't really get much to assist with him at that point, at least. And instead, Weaver will make his way out of there. And now they're headed towards the bottom lane. Try to push that out. So Complexity has some decisions to make here. Do they try to split push or defend, which obviously if their base is getting sieged, they're probably going to have to fall back and defend right here. So Doo-Wop continuing to be in control. Hurricane Pike now onto Shadow Fiend, his own BKB, the Silver Edge. Are his big items that he has, and Chrysalis into a Daedalus in the works.
It's a Bloodthorn, like Clinks. It's surprising how farmed he is actually, seeing as how these fights have been going, but just
missing. So doing some decent damage to him, but Not going to be enough. Glimmer Kid comes out. He will survive. OD puts under on Shadow Fiend, I believe. It's the imprisonment onto him, but a quick fall back. The hook, though, hits Weaver action. Not even intended. Dismember is going to be used right there. This might be more stab away, but now Weaver, he doesn't really care. He has the time left. Going to go. Requiem Souls once again from a distance, but the aura effect is actually powerful in itself. The tower goes down. You see Biru here. That's undying, and guess what? They were out of here. Can they maybe change? Nope. Again, they really tried.
They need this hook. They need this hook.
Somebody.
But unfortunately, Monkeys isn't in position to get it done. Like if they hook someone there, like that's an instant free kill. So obviously, the whole team's gonna sort of like see you later, and the one person's gonna get pulled back by a hook. But a decent defense though from Complexity. Though they didn't lose Rex, so it's definitely a decent hold. They obviously have lost their melee Rex top, but still a decent hold, and I should be pretty proud. These BKBs coming out from SF and Weaver are getting very low. Actually, 5 seconds on an SF, and for the Weaver, the BKB is only 8 seconds. So.
Look at that though, Ghost Scepter popped by Crystal Maiden. Now at least they had Punch nearby to help secure the kill in the end. I was going to say though, Ghost Scepter a huge pickup against his flanks. As soon as he opens, he just popped that as we saw right there. Also, Flinks can't really do anything about it and has to wait it out. So, and as you've seen in previous fights too, they're kiting him very well. On top of that, even with the BKB, seems like he's having trouble.
Signs of life though for Complexity here,
True.
Which is good. Like after that Rax lost top, I thought it was going to be completely downhill, but they found some fervor and some.
It does kind of weird, doesn't that? Moo is 10-1-4. I mean, he is again. The stat line suggests he's actually doing very well. But you know that in the fights, it just feels like that. It does feel a little underwhelming at the same. Now Weaver on the other side is 12-1-10. So
well, this is kind of what happens when you only have one kind of single damage source. You're kind of forced to play defensive because Doo-Wop realised that Klink's really the only threat in the team fight. So if they can focus in, then it's fine. Which forces Klinks to play defensive. But oh, here we go.
Yeah, they're gonna find Moo. Actually, that's a big target right off the bat. He's just simply in full survivor mode, and it's not even gonna work. He has a 5-back, but he's way far away. The Requiem of Souls. Freak actually using it right there. Gets the kill on a Crystal Maiden, but they lose himself as well as that Klinks from before. And the rest are going to get away, and now they're going to taxi somewhere. Yeah, they're going all the way to the top lane, actually, into the base of Complexity.
But you see, though, Klinks dies, and the team fight's over. It does have to force him to buy back, actually. Look at try and do something. Buy back on Rubik as well.
Yeah, Doo-Wop might have overstepped their boundaries somewhat right here. Never mind. Again, the lack of lockdown, the damage isn't really there, and they just all kind of run away. Who needs a dark rift when just run away as efficiently as they can? So, Doo-Wop, you got to give them credit where credit's due for sure. They are playing a very smart, a very patient game of sorts, but it's definitely getting them the victory here right now, it feels like.
Yeah, that's a Roche as well. And they forced out the buyback from Klinks as well as, I think, the Rubik. So, 1 kill on Klinks, and that's going to be the game. And Aegis now on Shadow Fiend, so they can easily kind of just siege high ground, but it looks like they're going to Complexity are going to try and go outside of base. I don't know if this is the play, honestly. I think they should perhaps try and stay in base and try and look for the miracle hook from Monkeys. But Doo-Wop, they're just going to go back, regen up, get their items, and then look to push down bot, seeing as all the racks top are completely destroyed. Yeah,
you got the cheese now on Weaver. I mentioned the Aegis. On Shadow Fiend, the Butterfly is actually in the queue as well, so going to push out this lane, and we'll see if he gets enough to eventually farm it and pick it up here. But how about this Underlord too? The freaking Shiva, that Solar Crest finish, the pipe on top of that. Okay, nobody's killing him. They already lack a bit of damage, but yeah, do not focus Underlord. That's not happening. It's safe to say. But yeah, again, this is also just a pretty beefy team. I mean, even a Weaver, obviously, with the time lapse makes it difficult. And the Lincolns, you got Shadow Fiend somewhat, not really, though. In fact, he has 2,500 life. So he has the most life in the game, I'm pretty sure, as I'm clicking around. So not so much squishy. And then there's a Ghost Scepter and Crystal Maiden, as we talked about before. So really, it's Complexity's damage output. It just seems like it's so mitigated this game.
Yeah,
and we're going to see right here.
But we need a decent hook here. So anyway, they can't defend this high road, I think.
Here we go. It's down in the background. There's a swap in on a Weaver, actually. Weaver's going to die pretty quickly. He has no buyback. That's a chance for Complexity. They do lose Vengeful, but she did her job. Getting that big swap in. Freak jumps in. He pops the ultimate, which is still from Undying. In comes the Sandy to the clutch as well. And 747 pops the Hurricane back over the Dota Monkeys. Not going to be enough damage initially. 747 million. They're falling, but again, he has the Aegis. Meanwhile, the freezing field going off that whole time, doing plenty of damage. Triple kill, actually, for Shadow Fiend, as he will end up falling, but the Aegis bringing him right back up, of course. So Klink's in the background, Still good to go. At about half life, so needs to be somewhat careful. They do put onto Underlord right there, and they take on the Crystal Maiden, but as soon as it comes out, Shadowfiend goes with him, and yeah, they got the racks on top of that. So, as pretty as an opening that was for Complexity.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a nice team fight there from Complexity. It was kind of... It was kind of like a semi-hook, but obviously they used the Venge instead to kind of hook onto the Weaver into straight Dismember. So nice play, but in the end, Shadowfiend was just destroying the racks in the meantime, and the Aegis was too much, and again just too little damage. I think the biggest reason though is that not only is OD's items a little bit peculiar, but it's because they don't have the greatest space to just sort of deal with BKB. All they've got is Clinks to deal with the BKBs. Obviously, Complexity are very kind of magical based. So when the BKBs come out from both SF and Clinks, so both SF and Weaver, it's only Clinks doing the damage.
And Shadowfiend now with that butterfly. 747 is beefy. He is 10-4-12 in this game, but again, Weaver.
They do have Bloodfall though.
Stat line here.
There is Bloodfall, which gets rid of the evasion from Butterfly, but obviously then BKB can be used to take off the Bloodfall. So there's kind of counterplay, but they have ways. I mean, Aegis is still down, and I think what the Complexity need to do, they need to somehow kind of bait out the BKB from Shadowfiend, and then they can use the Bloodfall to sort of take off the evasion, and then they can kill Shadowfiend quite quickly actually with the Clinks. But we'll see.
I don't know about that. We're kind of talking about the lack of overall damage, man, and it seems like
whoever Clinks attacks does quite a lot of damage, but then you got to worry about the other four heroes that Clinks isn't attacking is the problem.
Yeah. Oh jeez, my game is spiking again with the FPS. I apologize, guys. Let me see if I can get it fixed real quickly here.
Oh.
Seems like it just takes a little bit, and then it finally gets better. Okay, and there we go. I may restart after this, guys, and just go to a different setup. Anyways, okay, we should be good. Back good to go. But yeah, so not missing anything right there. It's just Doo-Wop making the way over towards looking to get some kind of push. But I'm gonna go for the other shrine. Gonna take that out pretty quickly. Are you still there, Minnie?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, for some reason I was just making sure that.
No problem.
Hurricane Pike on a Clinks, so there's even a little more damage, so a nice utility there that he can take advantage of as well. But
it's making his way towards MKB, which is obviously the lot more reliable way to deal with the Butterfly than just the Bloodform. Obviously goes through BKB, obviously, so with the MKB proc chance. But there's Cheese now and Weaver as well. I mean, man, Complexity have got to try and do something crazy, and maybe this smoke is their way to do it. Weaver and Maiden aren't nearby actually, but they are TPing in, so yeah, Complexity are going to back off.
Man, not going to work. Flink's just pushing out the top lane the best that he can. Dark backs even amping that damage quite a bit, but looking for a catch is Doo-Wop. 747 again on that Shadowfiend. Needs to be someone in the front lines, just cleaning out the Ancients. I don't know if they're necessarily waiting for an item here or not. I mean, data list being worked on by Shadowfiend, so I guess that could be it. They want to maybe at least get the Chrysalis and data list here. We're really trying to siege and finish off this game, but Complexity is, again, doing what they can to just delay it as long as possible and get some kind of opening. Ideally, maybe get a pick off or two. And on the cores, when they don't have a buyback, just things kind of lining up and then counter siege. But so it's understandable that they're not throwing in the towel just yet, but most certainly a game, it's going to be a very, very difficult task, and this is not going to help things. Zodi gets caught initially. The auto attack from Shadowfiend. He's chasing him down, pops the BKB. Blade not going to be used, though. Switches targets. Melons, meanwhile, the focus fire now. Buyback on Unlorded as he did die. Right off the bat right there. Move from a distance with that strafe. But again, he is keeping that distance. Takes out the Centaur that was on top of him. Weaver dives on OD. OD will survive, though. And the hook, meanwhile, to Undying into the well right here. But not close enough. He's just going to walk it off. He finally will get picked off. But over here, you see Clinks again running back. They destroy the racks. And that is going to spawn Mega Creeps now. And that should all but do it in favor of Doo-Wop here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as we see OD about to get dropped. Nope, does survive, but oh man, no, he's dead. No, yeah, no, yeah, he's dead. No.
What's going to happen here?
Those Greaves, man, allow him to sort of survive.
Yeah.
Too strong. But no, I think honestly the draft was kind of countered quite well by Duop. It all goes back to obviously them blocking a lot of the ancients and the pool camp, and so when you're playing sort of Pudge sort of in a core role, particularly in the offlane role, if you aren't able to sort of get those kind of gimmicky pulls off with the hook, then the hero loses a lot of his kind of appeal and a lot of his value, and then obviously it kind of sort of comes down to the OD going these sort of peculiar items, which I can understand. Obviously the mech useful for sort of team fights, but it definitely does lack in a lot of damage, and then they're relying too much on a Clinks, which I mean a single core Clinks as a carry is never going to be kind of able to out carry like a hero like Weaver as well as a SF on top of that. So a bit of a strange draft from Complexity. I can definitely understand the idea, and but unfortunately it's this game it just was definitely dealt with by Doo-Wop, and game 2 is going to see something different most likely, but Complexity are still holding on.
Yeah, I don't honestly know. It's really just feels like they're banging their head against the wall. I mean, again, I don't know if they really feel like that they're so far. I mean, to be fair, considering how the scheme's been going, like when the net worth 15,000, yeah, but considering they have mega creeps now and stuff, it's actually not a whole lot, and it's only 31 to 27 hero kills. So, in their mind, they may think like this is a lot closer of a game, but.
I mean, like in terms of money and economy, it kind of has been a very close game. But the difference is in these team fights. Like we talked about, like the team composition is completely different. They have a Pudge that does very little, really. The only kind of benefit he's going to offering to a team fight is maybe perhaps hook into base. But you compare that with someone like an Underlord. Look at the Underlord right now. Like he's got mech, he's got pipe, he's got sheepers, he's even got something like. There's so much more. The utility from this Underlord compared to the offlane Pudge is night and day. Again, honestly, and again, I can understand Monkeys likes playing this hero, but I don't think Pudge as a core it doesn't work. We've seen it time and time again not work before, and again we're not seeing it here either. Unless Monkeys goes on some crazy killing spree from the get-go, from the laning phase to the mid game, I don't think Pudge as a core can work. But
Now they're gonna give it a shot. MKB in the works for Kaling, so get that maybe and just go for quick kills. Unfortunately, he's gonna be jumped though, and I don't know if he's getting away from this one. Okay, forced staff away initially. Maybe he is. So he is good. Crystal Maiden was running in.
Look at that Death Pack though. Death Pack mega creeps, man. Clint's gonna be hitting so hard now.
Oh, true, yeah. There you go. That's so they're running to the trap.
Exactly. So this is all part of the plan.
Exactly what they wanted.
That Clint is gonna be doing 6 damage.
Level 25, 125 attack range now on top of that.
Clinks needs to get Rapier actually, don't get MKB, I don't think.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping that he'd be going for, but he has the MKB dub, of course, so.
I mean, obviously, it's good against SF, obviously, he can get rid of his butterfly evasion, but he has Bloodthorn to do with that, which is somewhat reliable, obviously, depending on whether SF uses BKB to pop it off, but he needs just raw damage, and I think Rapier will be the way forward, but we'll see. You can buy MKB now, but it's deciding against it, so it might be Rapier.
Maybe, yeah. If there's a Rapier game, this is definitely it for Complexity. So, kind of hope that it is, and again, even with that, you still got a 100% damage. He does go the MKB, but I mean obviously
it's still good, but
good damage.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's
not the Divine Rapier.
I think if Weaver had Butterfly as well, this definitely would have been the pickup. But I think with just the SF, perhaps it would have been better. But we'll see.
Falls back as they're trying to jump him, and Weaver's tired of waiting. Wow. Okay.
There goes Aegis, boys.
Belted. Aegis to worry about the hook hits as well.
Go, boys.
And now Weaver's gonna die.
Nice.
It's a buyback.
Alright. Yeah, boys.
That's the thing. Look at that. He just jumps in and pops the tire. What's going on? Meanwhile, over here, actually, OD dealing with a Shadow Fiend. Freezing Field going to be going off for Crystal Maiden, but she does die shortly after. So, we got further Weaver staying.
Alright, boys, let's go. We've got a game on our hands. I mean, obviously, I think that all goes back to Weaver's, obviously, kind of very aggressive play. Very kind of nonchalant attitude towards this game. I mean, the throne's still up, boys, so these are still playing, but yeah, still some of a hold from Complexity. And if they can perhaps contest the next Roshan, it'd be pretty big. Everyone's kind of frantically trying to build Maelstrom now on the side of Complexity.
Yeah.
Playing against Mega Troops.
That's a pretty good item to have, obviously, in this case. As Rubik does have an Axe. But the reason he stole the Freezing Field as well.
Nice.
So It's the ability to be even a little more useful there, but Underlord continuing this theme of being just a great tank support, and he now picks up a Lotus Orb. Undying actually picked one of his own up, so got a couple Lotus Orbs now. Gonna be crucial for the Purge and whatnot. Actually, Shadow Fiend though, he's being chased down. Shivas, it does connect. Gonna be put under with the imprisonment. They have that damage though, they do not. Clinks is not here, and again, without Clinks, they really can't expect to kill anyone. Especially that Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's gonna run back in, gets a couple auto attacks onto the Vengeful, and that's a dead Vengeful. 70 seconds, no buyback on the Melons right there. And now Dua pushing in, so they're gonna be down one, and really any hero is pretty crucial at a time like
Let's
this.
go, boys. They need some sick hookings to Fountain onto like the SF or the Weaver. That's what we're banking on.
Well, here we go. Well, that's not the hook that they were looking for. Looks like a swing and a miss, as Blade now going to be popped by OD. Gets caught there initially. Able to Force Staff, though. And he'll at least survive for now. Oh, that hook almost got Weaver. That tapped him a little bit, but out of range. Shadow Fiend under, but really this is a distraction right here. Freezing Field by Rubik right there as he jumps in. He's just going pretty crazy, trying something, but again, it's just not going to happen. Moo is doing everything he can to live. When you're just trying to live the whole time, you're doing a whole lot of damage. So that should all but do it here. It's the final push coming out from Dua, as they're letting the creatures really do most of the work, and they're kind of just staying alive themselves. So in one, we'll go to Dua here over Complexity, and gotta say, very deserving. I mean, I know it's ended up being a 52-minute game, but they really were in control.